Hi, it's Donna, your homegrown gourmet, part of the Gourmet and Good Enough team with my sister Diane. I'm going to show you how to make pizza dough today. So in a large bowl, I have 2 cups of warm water that has been heated to between 110 and 115 degrees Fahrenheit. To that, I'm going to add a 1/4 ounce of active dry yeast, and that's just like one small packet of active dry yeast. I'm also going to add 1 teaspoon of granulated sugar and then 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm going to whisk that together and then allow the yeast, give it about 5 to 10 minutes, allow the yeast to start working. So it's been a few minutes, and as you can see, my yeast is starting to bubble a little bit. It's active, so that means it's good. So to this, we are going to add, I have 5½ cups of bread flour. I'm going to start with 3 cups and add it to my liquid. And this has already been pre-measured. And then we're going to mix it low speed until it comes together. I want to add a couple tablespoons of olive oil for flavor. Every good pizza dough recipe has some extra virgin olive oil in it. You want to beat this on medium speed for about 3 minutes. Okay, it's been about 3 minutes. And now I'm going to stir in the rest of the flour to form a nice dough. So we have a nice soft dough. I'm going to turn it onto my work surface. I have a little bit of flour, and we are going to knead this for about 6 to 8 minutes. And we just want to work the dough. So you pull it forward with the heel of your hand and you push it away. Okay? And the more you work it, the more elastic it becomes. So you want to continue to knead this till it becomes nice and smooth and elastic. Like I said, a good 5 minutes. There's something therapeutic about working with bread dough. We're going to cover this, put it back in a bowl, cover it with a tea towel, and I'm going to put it in my oven with the oven light on because that's the perfect environment. It's like between 75 and 80 degrees when you close the oven door with the light on. And that way I don't have to worry if I have a draft or the sun starts shining on my countertop and causes a change in temperature. Oh, that's so pretty. I'm going to spread a little bit of oil in my bowl. And then I'm going to place the dough in here, cover it up with my tea towel. Put it in there and then flip it over. There we go. Cover it with the tea towel and it in the oven with the oven light on it goes for approximately 1 hour. Okay, my dough has been proofing. It has doubled in size and now we can turn it onto our floured work surface. We're gonna punch it down. Turn it onto the work surface. And we're gonna divide it in half. Need to get rid of some of those air pockets. And then I'm going to spread it out for my pizza and then let it rise for another half hour. Let's divide this in half. I have a smaller cookie sheet here because I only want to do a half of pizza. It's just my husband and I, so we don't need a lot of dough, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of oil on here. It's probably too much, so I'll share it with the other one. There we go. Spread that oil all around. And then I'm going to take my dough and I'm going to work it. And this is where it's nice to have something solid that it can hold on to so it doesn't glide all over my countertop. And then we're just going to spread it out. Take our time, spread it out. And you know, you might think that, oh my gosh, it's shrinking back, but it's okay. It will, it'll eventually fill in nicely. And then we're gonna cover it again with a towel, let it sit out on the counter for about a half an hour while I make some quick marinara sauce to put on the pizza and grate some cheese, cut up some mozzarella, make a salad maybe to go along with it. Okay. See, we're getting there. So I'm going to go ahead and make 2 of these. And what I like to do is I like to pre-cook the dough because I like a thicker pizza. So this is going to be a thick pizza. So I'm going to put it in my 425 oven for about 6 minutes, okay? Then I can top it with my sauce and my toppings and continue to bake it, okay? Look how nice that filled in. And that was just a couple minutes. Okay. So that's gonna get covered and I'm gonna go on to the next one. I used to, when my children were smaller and I was a working woman, I used to make pizza all the time and I would put it in my deep freeze and I'd make the shell just like this. I'd pre-cook it and then I would put the shell in the freezer, and then that way whenever I was working late or my husband was in charge of dinner, he could just take it out. The kids could have fun sprinkling cheese on it and some homemade spaghetti sauce, whatever, and put it in the oven. And then I felt good that they had a nice meal. So, and then occasionally there'd be some left over when I got home. Not always. That's okay. If you get a little hole, just pinch. It's okay. Not gonna hurt anybody. I mean, this is a rustic dish, so it's not gonna be perfect. You're not at a pizzeria here. This is my home, and this is how I do it. this one's a little bit thinner than the first one, and that's okay. So one time I was visiting a friend in California, and I wanted to surprise them and make bread, and they were busy working that day, and I was going to be visiting for a while, so I went to the store and I got all the ingredients, and I didn't realize the difference of altitudes, and oh my goodness, we had poof, my bread blew up. Oh dear. All right, so we have 2 nice pizza shells, and I'm going to go ahead and shape a loaf of bread. I might top this with a little bit of sesame seed. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put that on my oiled cookie sheet. Okay, covering that up, I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven and start my marinara sauce. Okay, to make my marinara sauce, I'm heating 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of butter. And to that, I'm going to add half a chopped onion, and half of a shredded carrot, let that saute, and I'm going to go ahead and chop the garlic. You don't want to add garlic right away because it could burn, and it doesn't take very long at all for garlic. We're ready for the garlic. I also want to add some red pepper flakes, not too much, and then salt and pepper. And I want some basil and oregano, dried basil and oregano. And if you want to get the most out of your dried herbs, then crush them a little bit in your hands before you add them to your dish. This is some tomato sauce from my garden. I'm going to let this come to a boil and simmer and thicken while my oven is preheating and my pizza dough is proofing. Let's take a look at this. And one thing that's very important when you're making pizza is you want to dock the dough. And that, what I mean by that is you want to put holes in it so that when it bakes, it doesn't puff up and you get hills and valleys everywhere. Okay, so we're just going to dock the dough. Like I said, I am going to go ahead and pre-cook this for about 6 minutes. Sometimes I like to create an edge, so we can try that. Okay, while my sauce was cooking and my pizzas were proofing, I went ahead and baked the other half of the bread into a loaf, and here it is. Look at that. Came out pretty good. I love it. Oh boy, oh boy. That is a pretty looking loaf. I'm gonna cool it and then maybe we'll have it for breakfast tomorrow. So here's my pre-cooked pizza shell that I took out of the oven earlier. I baked it at 425 for about 6 minutes. And here is my marinara sauce. I'm gonna go ahead and spread some of this on. And this has onions and garlic and basil and oregano, a little bit of carrot for sweetness. I have some sliced mozzarella, the fresh mozzarella. I'm just gonna put it around here and there. Don't need too much. Today we're just gonna go with a little marinara, some fresh mozzarella, and then I grated some Parmigiano Reggiano and some Romano cheese. And we will sprinkle that on top. I'll put a little drizzle of olive oil. And then in the oven it goes for about 5 to 7 minutes. Little sprinkle. Okay, in the oven. Put the timer on 6 minutes. Okay, the pizza is done. And now for the finishing touch. Tear a little bit of fresh basil. And put that all around. Okay. Let's put it on our cutting board. Slide it right on there. Perfect. There you have it. Ciao.